I have nominations for chair, please?
I nominate Kathy Hahn for chair.
Second.
There's been a nomination and a second. Any other nominations? Hearing none? Those in support? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimously elected. Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you so much.
I need to vote.
It's tough.
Missed it.
We noted that you weren't here, and we get right along.
Okay.
I'm looking for that position, yeah.
Do I hear a nomination for vice chair?
Nominate Lisa Ash.
Second.
Second. Oh, thank you. Any other nominations? There being none, all those in favor of Lisa as vice chair?
Aye.
Aye.
Looks like that's unanimous. Would anyone consider running for secretary? I tell you, doing secretary and chair is a little bit tough.
And we help. We help. There's not a lot of heavy lifting in terms of our office. It would just be at times after non-public session when we do the nominations, quite frankly. And we help. We help. We just need a name.
Well, what we could,
Can we nominate someone? Yeah. I was going to nominate.
You was going to nominate Barbara.
Second.
Second.
We'll help you, Barbara. Thank you.
do I hear any other nominations?
No.
All those in favor?
That was a real little job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Congratulations,
Oh,
Barbara.
you mentioned it.
Congratulations, Barbara.
And it really is quite easy. It's
Mark will say, sign here, and you sign there.
Promise it's on tape, right?
We'll take care of it.
Now, I believe we did not approve the minutes for February 7th last time because we didn't have a quorum. Would that be correct?
No harm done by approving them again.
So, you've had the minutes for February 7th for a bit and minutes for February 21st, both public session. Unless there are any corrections or amendments, they will stand approved as written. No privilege of the floor. Mr. Halloran.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone had a copy of the election results and the ballot results. And I want to publicly thank members of the board for all their help and efforts in terms of passing not only the CT renovation article, but also collective bargaining agreement and the budget. I'd like to formally thank the voters of the district for their generosity and hearing us out. And it was fun to go out into the different towns and go over the CTE project. I found it to be an awful lot of fun. It was great to see an awful lot of people I rarely see at times. So, and thank you to the board members who helped so much on that. So, and you all have copies of what the raw data was. So, again, thank you.
And thank you for all your work, both of you.
You're welcome.
Reed.
All right. So I'll start by noting that in the Plymouth Regional High School math team won the regional competition by a very wide margin in February. And earlier today, we went to Plymouth State University to compete in the statewide events. So our school competed in the medium school division. We had the freshmen Reese Harris, sophomores Roger Babin and Ryan Hardy, juniors Chris Bramer, Liam Crowley, and Dick Little, and seniors Sean Harris, Auntie Pilavesi, Peter Templeton, and myself. I am very, very pleased to announce that our team are the state champions in the medium division. I'd like to give my most heartfelt thanks to Gareth Peters and Stephanie Miller for being excellent coaches and making this a wonderful year for the math team.
Well, congratulations.
Great.
You get a dinner out of that too, young man, too.
Yes, we did.
We do academics as athletics, so great job. He's got his medal on too. Please note, committee members.
Great.
And there were,
That's very impressive.
as he said, the buses were backed up all the way on 93
Yeah.
coming up from all over the state to compete in this event, because obviously the college is on break. So it's a big deal.
There's a lot of competition in the
Yep.
questions at the state meet. They don't pull punches.
Do you know how many teams there were at the state level or participants?
I'm not entirely sure. I'd say at least 30 to 40. I know that we placed first in our division. We also placed 5th overall multi-divisionally.
Great.
Wow.
There are no multi-divisional rewards though. So later tonight at the school is going to be the NHS induction at 6 o'clock. We are going to be inducting President Samantha Vandemore, Vice President Martin Runquist, Secretary Richard Lyons, Historian Jake Little, and Treasurer Logan Hilger. The President Lily Friedman will be inducting the new officers, and Jay Fogarty will be acting as the induction speaker tonight. King Lear was performed by the school this weekend on Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th. I've heard that the performance went very well, and they will be performing at the festival on Saturday the 26th. They will also have another performance this Wednesday at Cultural Arts Night. Cultural Arts Night will also be featuring performances by the PBRSB Music Department and also select students from the sending schools in SCU 48. And there will be student art displayed throughout the school. The All-State Music Festival will also be held at the end of the month on Friday the 30th, Saturday the 31st, and Sunday, April 1st in Concord. And Mr. Fogarty will also be proctoring a programming competition on Sunday, April 1st. We currently have one school that we know will be attending our physical location for the competition, and we believe there may be a second. That concludes my report.
Good job, Reed.
Thank you, Reed.
Really nice.
You'll have to come back more often. Mr. Parsons.
No speech, let's see.
Hard
Took my
act to
fanfare.
follow.
I'd like to have, maybe he can go welcome the Honor Society and induct them with my speech tonight. Nice job, Reed. I'm good.
You're good, all right. Committee progress reports, facilities.
So we met last night. The minutes from December 12th were approved. Mr. Tyler Phillips was there questioning the bus route extension. We talked about Mark looking into for us the numbers of kids on Route 3 versus 175, or looking at the configuration of the route, just to see, since we haven't looked at that in a while. So Mark's going to look into that and let us know in the next month or two. The CT, Mr. Halloran kind of spoke on that already. That's good to go. We're just waiting for state approval to officially have the 75% funding. If everything goes as planned, the project will be out to bond January 2018 with construction beginning that spring. Facility update, there's a couple of bathroom issues, but minor. Those were repaired. Parking lots are looking good, and the ground is dry for spring sports practices. And they are at PSU Aldall Center this week. No other business. We'll be meeting again April 17th at 5, and we adjourned at 5:34.
Thank you. Policy and budget.
We met last night, and the minutes of December 12th were approved as written. We did a fiscal year revenue and appropriation update, and Mr. Halloran reviewed the updated revenues and appropriations and reported that overall, we are in very good shape at this time. Power School from web to school transition. Mr. Halloran reported that the SAU-wide, the schools will be changing this data management system software from web to school to Power School sometime in June, and there'll be training provided for that transition as well. Mr. Halloran requested authority to begin putting bond application material together. He requested a verbal approval, and he received that from the committee. Mr. Parsons reported that an Indian tribe is coming from Wisconsin on Thursday to meet with John Francis to look at our wood chip plant. He also reported that he is meeting with a community group bi-monthly who are interested in helping out our students in need. The next meeting for that group is April 3rd at 7 a.m. At 5:55, a motion to adjourn was made by Mrs. Ebner, second by Mrs. Hahn, and we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Our next meeting is at April 17th.
Program and staffing.
Program and staffing met last night as well, and approved the minutes from December 12th. Mr. Parsons requested approval for the Spanish Club to go biannually to Montreal for an overnight field trip as the French Club does. And he also requested approval for the Quiz Bowl team to go to an overnight competition event to Chicago. The cost of that trip is paid for by the participants as well as the other trip, but the school would pay the $600 entry fee for the Quiz Bowl in Chicago. And a motion was made by Mrs. Ash and seconded by Mrs. Noyes to move both field trip requests on to the full board for approval. So do those need to be voted on tonight?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
They do.
Do I hear a motion to approve those two field trips?
So moved.
Second? Okay. All in favor? Okay, motion passes. Mr. Parsons also distributed invitations for the PRHS Convergence Art Show on April 13th from 5 to 7 here in the high school gymnasium. Students' artwork will be displayed and there will be a silent auction with all proceeds going to Katie and the Circle program. We then went into non-public session to discuss nominations and personnel. And we'll take that up in non-public tonight. And that's all I have.
Thank you. SCC?
Yes, SCC met on March 6th. The primary reason for the meeting that night was we voted on the proposal that was before us, which quoted is, the school community council does not recommend offering PE credit for students who participate in interscholastic sports, end quote. That went before us, we had a small attendance, but there was only one objection, one that was negative. So the end result is we are not recommending that the students who have athletic sports be able to take that as their PE credit. There was a whole host of reasons that were discussed over the previous meetings as to how we came down to that decision. Mostly, I think it's fair to say the biggest problem was how to decide who gets that credit and who doesn't. Because, for instance, let's take this one sport where there's a great number of participants, but only a few of those great numbers actually get to be physical in the sport. So, do they all get credit for PE, or is it just those who are really active? And as it goes on, the discussions we had, some felt that that would become an elitist type thing where, oh, these people, these students that take these participate in the athletic events don't have to take PE. Another consideration was when they take PE in school, there's an interaction between the students that's very beneficial to each level of student that's taken PE, and they felt that that was something that should not be foregone. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I wasn't part,
No, but with the discussions on that issue?
because I had appointed designee Mr. Bryce as
Right.
mine, so I
Right,
was not
we did
really,
get-
but you hit the nail on the head, yep.
So that was primarily what our discussion was on that night. Our next meeting is going to be Monday, May 1st, and at that meeting, we're going to entertain nominations for next year's chair. We also will discuss the programs or proposals that we want to work on next year. It's been mentioned that we work on the senior seminar topic, but there's some question as to how we received that suggestion. We can't find it in the minutes that it came to us through the regular process.
It came from the board. It came from the board, discussion on the board, and, yes. And we wanted to look at, it's always been discussion, there's been interest to look at a financial piece that the seniors go out the door with, and also a health piece that's completely different than the kids' experience from the 9th grade.
So we did have those discussions, but.
So I think if you look back in the minutes of the school board, you'll see that I recommended that to him, and I came back to the SC and gave him the instructions from
And
the
that's
board.
what we're going to go further.
Correct.
Because Ryan couldn't find it in the minutes for the SCC. And there was a minor discussion about, we feel that maybe we should become a monthly meeting committee rather than every other month. Because when we have topics that we really need to delve into, that 1 hour every other month is not an awful lot of time. And there have been times where we said, okay, we need extra time, we will need the extra months, but it's nice to have it known right at the beginning so people can plan their years and know that their time is committed. So that's still something that we're discussing, and I don't know where that's going to be, but we, right now, I'm not scheduled to meet until Monday, May 1st.
I just want to piggyback a little bit and just say I was really impressed with the conversation that was had about the varsity sports. It was way more involved than I kind of went in thinking. The students brought up some great points. Some of the parents brought up some great points that I hadn't really thought about. I thought it was very well discussed, and I think it was very thorough. And in the end, the majority of the students that were there really kind of understood where a lot of people were coming from on how it is hard to kind of define what is equivalent to a credit of PE. So I thought it was a great process, and I thought it was well done on all ends.
Over the years, as I've served on that committee, I've always been impressed with the interaction between the students and the adults, be they community members or faculty or staff. And I think we owe it to ourselves as adults to be grateful that they feel comfortable speaking their mind with us and to us. They do a great job, and I'm very impressed with the information we get back and the reports we get back from the students, because we allow them to tell the good side of what they believe on an issue as well as the not so good. And they do a wonderful job handling themselves, so I'm very proud of them. And that's it for the SCC,
All right.
School Community Council.
Thank you. Discussion items.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have talked a little bit about the CTE project, but I just want to reiterate for folks who may be watching at home that what we were given was authority to go ahead with the CTE project with the understanding that we would be getting 75% from of federal and state money. And our commitment is if that does not go through the legislative process at 75%, then we would hold public hearings and tell folks exactly what was going on at the legislative process and take public input on that. So we're not rushing out to do that. We really have to wait for the process to go forward and to see what's in the state budget this year. Historically, all those projects have been funded at 75%, but I do want the members of the public to know that we won't be going forward unless the commitment that the state has made to us and that we've made to the people is honored. So we're proceeding very, very slowly.
Board member concerns? I will just be putting together a list of committee members before next month's meetings. So if folks want to change committees, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep you where you currently are. So please let me know within the next 2 weeks.
Can I say something on that also too? If everyone just remember, as part of the teachers' contract we negotiated, I think starting this upcoming year, we're going to
Yes,
need
we
to have
did.
2 negotiation groups for the 2 pieces that. So I don't think we need to resolve that tonight, but just
No.
people need to start thinking about whether they want to volunteer to serve on one of those 2 committees.
And what were those
One's
2?
insurance and what's the other one?
The one will be investigating possibility of an early retirement
Oh, that's right, yeah.
issue, and the second one is
Scheduling.
scheduling.
Schedule.
And if I recall, each of them is to have about 3 or 4 members from
Correct.
each group.
Right.
Is that correct?
The deadline by October 18th
Okay.
of 18.
And they are linked.
They are linked.
Yeah.
They go together.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
So let me know on that, otherwise we will be calling you. Privilege of the floor. There being no other business, do I hear a motion to go into non-public session to discuss personnel?
So moved.
Seconded by Peter.